Just do some shaking, Clarice. Let's do some shaking. You need to have a voice. You need to have a voice for that.
Okay.
Good one,
Okay,
Tim.
yes, cool. I'm gonna start again. Hi everyone. Today I have Candyce Costa with me today, and she's from Brazil. She has lived in London for 10 years.
Yeah, we've moved from Lisbon, so we lived there almost 10 years as well. And before we were in New Zealand, and before we are in Brazil.
So, which part of Brazil did you come from?
From the northeast. So my mom and dad, they're from the northeast of the country. And they moved to Amazonas, where we have the rainforest. So I grew up in the middle of the rainforest. Beautiful, amazing, very exotic, and different from everywhere in the world that I have been since. And and then we moved back to the coast from Brazil. So it's where originally my family is from.
So what made you decide to move to London? I mean, like London and Brazil is so far away.
Why? Yeah, exactly. So we moved to Portugal. So we moved to the coast near Lisbon. It was really to leave Brazil because of the violence. So the local violence there was like increasing a lot, and I wasn't feeling safe anymore. So I have a baby, and I just decided that it wasn't the place that I wanted him to grow up. So we moved to Portugal. We lived there for 7-8 years. And one day my son decided that he wants to study in a British university. So we moved to New Zealand first. We didn't like it. So yes, family and friends there. So saying to us that it was paradise. And don't get me wrong, it is paradise. So very quiet. People, they are amazing. So friendly, beautiful place to live. But wasn't for us. So we like busy cities. So and then we say, okay, let's move to London. So we moved to near London. So 10 years ago, with the idea to have my son finish his education here. So he went to finish his GCSEs, and then he's done his A-levels, 3 years of uni, 1 master, 3 years of a doctorate now. So that's why we're here. So, but in the end, we just love London, and we love to be in England. And we, as a family, as a person as well, we just got attached to the opportunities, to the life here. So we just keep it staying, and then now it's 10 years, so we bought a house, we bought a dog, so probably we're gonna be here forever. Not sure, but let's see.
Did you have any problems like when you first moved here, like with the language or the culture?
Not a lot, because I learned English when I was in Brazil. So of course, I've learned in American accent, and I have the American grammar as well. So when I move here, I have to first understand the British accent, and then starting, changing a little bit my English. And I think nowadays I just have my own English, because I speak a little bit of everything, and people just understand me in the end of the day.
Oh, I can totally understand. I had problems understanding the British accent when I first came.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it was like, oh my goodness, do I speak English? Yeah, but I think it's in my case, I was so used to the American culture, with movies, series, and everything, and music as well. So when I arrived here, I had really to understand. It took me maybe 2-3 months to really get used to, especially on the phone. Was really, really difficult.
You have to be at a quiet place to take a call.
Exactly. I couldn't take the call if I'm not really focused in a quiet place that I could really understanding every part of the conversation. So sometimes in the very beginning was a little bit difficult, but not the English, because we were already English speakers, not 100% fluent, because we never had lived before in a in an English speaker country. But yeah, I think the accent took me like 3 months to get used to the accent.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was fun. After 3 months, I was already working, so you know, it was just, I think it was just switching a little bit my my mindset for the. Okay, so they have this is different in the accent. They do not do the R like the Americans. You know, they don't use like the whole grammar that we do in America with like I wanna, I'm gonna go, I gotta go, or so I try. Yeah, you know, yeah. So I try to quickly. I tried to understand and learned the way they use the grammar here. So and then after a while, after 6 months, I think I was okay. I was fine.
Did you have like a culture shock? What was your biggest culture shock?
Here was a little bit the no eye contact.
Oh, no eye contact.
Yeah.
You mean like in the tube or just walking on the streets?
I think everywhere a little bit, because especially like in the Latin countries, we usually do eye contacts and we just smile and say good morning.
Even on the streets, like random strangers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we do that. You know, sometimes you are in a queue, like buying bread or whatever, and people just talk about the weather or say like, "How are you? You okay?" or something. You know, or what kind of bread we're gonna buy it, and we just spark conversation. And if you know, like you are in a tube or in a public transportation, probably you going to look people around, and they will probably smile. You know, if there are children around, they will probably say something, and then sometimes it's a half an hour conversation. So that for me was really, really difficult and strange, because it's something that I was very used to, and moving here was the big shock, because I was looking to make eye contact and I didn't have, and I think people thought that I was creepy. Probably. I was a little bit creepy.
And then they're like,
what she's staring me? What she's staring me? What she wants? Yeah. So nowadays I'm like I think after the first year I was okay. So today I do not do eye contact at all. Actually, I avoid eye contact.
To becoming British.
Yes, more and more.
No, I think I get what you mean. It's a bit, it's quite different.
Yeah, because the countries that I lived before, and like my culture, we are so used to this human contact, and the eye contact is the first, even though you are completely strange. So that is the first thing, because I do not have family here. So when I moved, I don't have family, so I didn't have friends, I didn't have anybody. So for me, I was like seeking some sort of like just a smile, you know, someone is smiling, or just looking into my eyes and say, yeah, you're here, you know. So I had a lot of like small victories every day in a new country, and I didn't have anybody apart of my son and my husband to share. So until I have friends, so yeah, it was a little bit difficult the first weeks, the first months, but then I just got used to it, the way they are, and then now I'm getting, as you said, more and more British. I'm avoiding.
So do you see like there's any difference in terms of like maybe the working culture or how people do business here compared to like in Brazil?
Yes, definitely. Especially in Brazil, so Brazil is also different from the Latins in Europe, like Spain and Italy and Portugal. So if we talk about Brazil, Brazilians, they just do business with you in a very familiar environment. So usually they are going to kiss you and hug you even though they just met you. So they want to be very comfortable in the very, very beginning. They are going to talk about the family, about the day, about hobbies, about the movie that they watch. Yes.
First meeting.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
They will be very try to be friendly as much as they can.
Okay.
And but don't get me wrong, it's about business. So they are going to, in one point is when probably they're gonna say, okay, now it's time for business, Clarice, and then they're gonna talk about the business, side of everything. But the first point, they want to create a trustful connection and a friendly connection with you. So if you cannot do that, or if you're not prepared to do that, it's going to be a little bit difficult, because it's the only way Brazilians work. So
funnily, actually, I feel like I might have a bit of Brazilian blood, because I sort of like to have a bit of a chat. I mean, not a lot, maybe not as much as a Brazilian, but I feel like if I get to know them like personally, it's sort of much better than, okay, let's start our meeting
Yes,
now.
yeah.
And I felt a bit like awkward, like you don't know how the other person would respond, or so you warm up, you be more relaxed, and then you can chat.
Yeah, this is the Brazilian way. Usually, if it's possible, they will serve food as well, coffee and some like snacks, or maybe they will invite you for lunch or dinner as well, even though you already have or going to have a proper meeting. So it's very normal, very like another thing is gifts. They always buy something. So could be not in the first meeting, but as soon as you starting having the business relationship, it's very, very common. Brazilians, they will buy some gift or something for you just to show you that they are comfortable with you, so they trust you and they want to please you as well. So it's a very friendly thing that Brazilian does. Yeah, we always wanted to buy gifts to everybody, which is good, isn't it?
Is that the reason why you were asking me if I wanted something?
Yeah, all the time. Because I always wanted to buy things for people, and I'm like, no, do not buy anything, because people think it's creepy, but it's a very Brazilian thing to do. Even the Latins, like Spanish and Italians, they also do that. With the food as well. So that's why I'm saying Latin countries, but of course Portugal, Spain, and Italy, because they are Europeans, they are a little bit more formal as well. So, but Brazilians, they always compare Brazilians with Australians.
Okay.
So very laid back, very relaxed, very friendly. So and then I also compare nowadays. I also compare Brazilians and Australians. They are probably the same vibe. So, which is interesting. Yeah. I like the Australians.
Australians are really open.
Yeah, exactly. So they are very much like Brazilians. So you know me a little bit now, and I'm very Brazilian with you.
No, I'm used to it because I've met many Brazilians here in London itself. So it's like sort of like different. I think like for yourself, you've been here for like 10 years. So I don't really know anyone who has lived here for that long. Because most of them, they just go back. It's very common for Brazilians. They travel or they live for a while in a country, but they always wanted to move back to Brazil. So not my case, but Brazilians usually they are very, so what we call saudades is a very particular Brazilian word that there is no translation for other, like for English. So that's when you miss something terribly. So you feel saudades. Yes, so they wanted to move back. So they missing family, friends, the culture, local food. So they just decided to move back. So I don't, because I do not suffer a lot of saudades. I'm good. So, but Brazilians love saudades and move back to Brazil. What do you think is like maybe the biggest change that you can see in yourself after 10 years living here? You think you've changed or?
Oh, definitely a lot. If I'm thinking as a Brazilian, I am cold.
You're cold?
Yes, I'm very formal. I'm not very about when I'm in a business environment, I'm not talking about being with friends. Like for example, with you, every time that we are together, we kiss, we hug, etc. But in a formal environment, for me, I'm very formal. So I'm not gonna hug and kiss it, or I'm not gonna talk about my family or my stuff. I'm gonna talk about business. Probably 5 minutes of conversation just to put everybody in a relaxed, but not talking about my life or stuff like that. So, and even with Brazilians, I'm not gonna kiss and hug unless I know them for a while. I'm not gonna talk about my family or my life as well. So another thing is I do not have any, for example, about food, the way I dress, the way it's much more European than Brazilian. The way some sort of my attitudes in a business environment or even in a party environment, I'm much more European nowadays. So I'm not, even in Brazil, people in Brazil, they always thought that I was a little bit weird.
Why? Weird?
Because there, when I lived in Brazil, I had the same kind of attitude. I wouldn't share my life or share my things or kiss and hug or open the door of my house to everybody, like in Brazil.
So people in Brazil in that time, they thought that I was weird, you know. So probably I will ask them to call me first instead of just knocking in my house door, saying, "Oh, hello, I'm here. I came to eat cake and coffee."
Okay.
So you know, this is normal in Brazil. So for me, it wasn't. So I didn't like it. So even in Brazil, I was already a little bit like I am today.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I cannot say that I changed a lot.
Yeah.
But comparing with Brazilians, again, I am very cold. And I'm very formal as well. The way I talk, the way I, so, you know, like I try to, when, especially in a business environment, I try to condense myself and be more, you know, like quiet. So it's a completely different from Brazilians. So that's, yes, completely different.
It sounds like you've conditioned yourself to be like a British, to hide all your Brazilian blood away.
Yeah, a little bit, probably. I think it's just, as you said, after 10 years, I left Brazil so many years ago, you know, I think 18 years ago now. So 18, yes. So after that, I think part of me, so it's more European than ever. So every year that, you know, I'm stay in Europe in contact, and I do not have a big, on my friend circle, I do not have a lot of Brazilians. So I'm not in contact with my culture every single day. You know, I speak Portuguese every day with my husband, but as a culture thing, it's not. So maybe I can say I'm a little bit emotionally detached of the country already, you know, because of the years that I left. So sometimes I cannot even remember like things. People say, "Oh, do you remember that?" And I'm like, "No, not anymore." And right now I'm starting having problems speaking Portuguese as well. So
really?
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
How to speak.
Yeah, I forgot words. I forgot things that I prefer use like English. So when I'm talking, or you know, when I have a conversation with a Portuguese speaker that doesn't speak English, it's a little bit difficult for me. And when I pitch in business, completely horrible. I need to pitch in English.
Oh no.
Yes. I have to ask them, "Do you speak English? Would you mind that I pitch in English, that we can, you know, have our meeting in English?" If they are okay, I'm like, okay, cool. If not, I have to pitch in Portuguese, like I have done 2 months ago. I lost a client, of course, because I'm very informed. My Portuguese is not a business Portuguese anymore. I completely lost.
You lost a Portuguese client.
Yes. So and I lost my pitch in Portuguese, you know.
I see.
So I'm very like, you know, very laid back with a lot of slangs in my Portuguese.
I see.
So my pitch,
it's not like formal.
No, I'm not in my prime in Portuguese anymore.
Maybe we should just stick to English.
Yes, let's stick to English. Yeah, if you want to speak like slang thing, I can go there because it's not a formal environment, but business is difficult. And it's funny.
They speak for Portuguese businesses, they do speak like formal.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they are much more formal with the. So we have almost like two Portuguese. Like you have a Portuguese for every single day, but you have like a more like a formal Portuguese, you know, like in jargons and that we use in Portuguese that I'm not familiar in anymore. So
is it similar to how like the Germans do it, like with the formal German and then
it's the same, especially in Brazil, because Brazil they flex the daily Portuguese is super like slangy all the time, like America. They slang all the time, and it's a very active and dynamic language. So every year or every 2 years they have new slangs, new ways of saying things. So with that, I'm still okay, but in a formal Portuguese, it's really difficult for me. It's getting really difficult. I lost the client. I knew when he says to me, "I do not speak English," I was like, okay, I lost it.
So are you going to start practicing your Portuguese again, maybe?
Maybe. Let's see.
Okay, now we can start
talking about business.
Yes, business now. After the warm up, yes. Okay, so we're going to talk about.
So do you want to talk about the magazine?
Yeah, we start the magazine.
Okay,
the
cool.
digital business magazine.
Yes.
So I was, you invited me to be on the magazine earlier this year.
Yes.
And then you've come really far to start doing like your 4th edition already.
Yes.
So it's been like a long journey. So
Since February.
Did you do one every month, or did
No,
you do
every 2 months.
Every 2 months.
We have February, that was for to celebrate the International Women's Day, so it was the first.
I see,
and then we have May, August, and October, and next one is December, and we finish 2018.
Are you planning for more next year?
Yes. We already have guests booked for February.
Yeah.
So we already closed the guests for December, so December is already wrapped up.
Yeah.
So right now we're booking for February, and that is for March, and then May.
All right.
Yeah, so good.
Super exciting. So do you know like approximately like maybe how many readers or subscribers you have?
I don't, because we promote just on LinkedIn. So, and then you know, probably more than me, that the stats in LinkedIn is a little bit funny because they have changing algorithmics. So when we started in February as well was very new, so I didn't really had a lot of like readers or followers, apart of the people connect with me and with the guests in that specific magazine when you were one of them. So the first one was really like small. And then what happened, we jumped for the second edition, and then everything started getting like really crazy. So in the second one, we already went for almost 200,000 engagements between comments, and views between my posts and our guest posts, and people sharing. So, and again, with the statistics from LinkedIn, we do not have everything. So when I say that today we have 500,000, we could be more, we could be a little bit less. Definitely, I would never say if it's 500,000, if it's not. Probably it's much more or more, but I cannot have the full access to the statistics because all of the guests involved. But we have guests with 60,000 views, we have guests with 25,000 views, we have guests and sharings and comments with like 1,000 comments. So we have big numbers. I wish I could have access to the whole numbers, because then I would be much more happier to give a number for that. I can't, so we work what we can, because we do not have a website. We do not promote on Facebook. We do not have a Facebook group. We do not have nothing apart of what LinkedIn gives to us. That is posting and then the articles and sharing. So what we do is every time that we have a magazine, we create posts, and then we ask our guests to also create posts or share, and then they share their statistics with us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have plans to expand beyond LinkedIn promotion?
Right now I think it's starting almost being a must. It has to, because what now is I have been receiving a lot of inboxes or requests about where can I sign for, when I can register for the membership, where can I find the first edition, like today. So I create a post for the 4th edition, and one of the comment was like, oh my goodness, I really wanted to read the 3 previous one. Where can I find? So nobody can find it anywhere, because unless they are following me and find on my threads, something related with the previous one. So right now the next step for the magazine is having a website where everybody can access, find all of the editions, find a way to book their own one-to-one, because to be a guest of the magazine you have to book a one-to-one with me, so where we're going to talk a little bit about yourself, about your business, or if we are not having just business owners, so we have also professional women in the magazine, so we just talk a little bit about their careers, about the mission of the magazine and how they align with our mission. And with that, if both of us are happy, we are gonna book them for one of the next editions. So the next step is the website, and then we are now also planning to have a media pack So with the media pack, we are going also to offer advertising, so people can advertise in the magazine. And because the magazine is digital, you don't have so it's going to be a straightforward traffic to your website, to your book on Amazon, whatever URL you want. So from the magazine, people will they will click and get straight away to whatever you are selling, you are sharing, or whatever it is. So, and for next year, we are also going to explore more and more live interviews. So, like today, or through Skype or Zoom rooms as well. So someone in America or Australia. So this is the only way that we can have live.
So you're going to have like live videos. I mean, like videos on the website as well as the digital magazine itself.
Exactly. Wow. So and then for that, I'm starting. Really, I do not want to, but I think I have to go and do a Facebook group. You know, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. So because I really wanted to keep the promotion and everything on LinkedIn, because for me, it's where I can relate it with them. I relate much more in the LinkedIn environment than the Facebook environment. So that's why I'm a little bit reluctant to have a Facebook group. But right now, LinkedIn doesn't have a nice group general features, so it's not a good platform for groups. So maybe we can start on Facebook and then migrate one time if LinkedIn has something to offer in the future. So let's see.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, we never know. LinkedIn is changing so much. You know that. So probably I know that they are looking to improve the groups. So let's see. So for me, as I said, I'm a little bit reluctant to have a Facebook group, but you know, people starting asking because they are much more active on Facebook. You know, than on it's easier to work in a Facebook group because you have live videos, you can upload, so you can share information. So I can share all of the magazines there, articles. So when I look at for the benefits of having a Facebook group, I totally understand. However, I'm reluctant anyway.
Let's see how it goes. So you haven't talked about the mission of the magazine. So what's the mission of your magazine?
So the mission of the magazine is basically three things. That is inspire, motivation, and to everybody, the women know that they are not alone. Because this is usually every time. So I have been almost for 3 years now working very specifically helping women and supporting women with their business. And all the time it's about the mindset is very important for women, and to be inspired and motivated for others, you know, the business women, other professional women, different generations as well. It's really something very, very positive that help women to thrive. So this is the two big missions of the magazine. So with the raise your profile, so we use the hashtag raise your profile, and the whole campaign raise your profile to help women to step up and be a role model with inspirational journeys and motivation ideas, or you know, to help the young generation as well to step up even faster, you know, and understanding that there are challenges, yes, of course, but we can overcome the challenges if we have a very supportive group behind you. So, and the third one, that you are not alone, is because usually when I have conversations, and every single week I have a lot of conversations with different women from around the world, different generations, backgrounds, even education. All of them, they always mention that they always think that they are alone. They are facing challenges or trying to find a better balance between family and career, or family and business, struggling with, you know, the daily work, whatever it is. We always, as women, we always think that we are alone, and we don't want to share our struggles because we don't want to that people think that we are weak. So the idea of the magazine is exploring through the interviews the low points as well, the challenges that we face, you know, that there are a lot, and we have to pick up our pieces when we lose something, and just keep going, you know. It's normal, it's part of the life. So, and then that is inspiring a lot of women. So every time that the magazine is out, I have so many inboxes of women thanking the magazines and sharing so many different stories. So that is amazing. That's what keeps me going as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. How did you get in touch with all these women? Did you like ask them to come to you, or?
For the first magazine, I know personally everybody, so I invite them in. So, and then, you know, like amazing that they say yes, and then we started this crazy idea. For the second one, half of them were my friends, like people that I already been connected, and some were referrals from the previous guests and the guests that were involved in the second one. And then and then when we finished the second one, I've done a shout out for Raise Your Profile, and I have around 150 women answering the call. So from there, from there it's just every day, every week I have so many interviews, so many calls. So every time that I finish one magazine, I already have another magazine full. So in the end, right now, as I said, we are already working for February. So
how many women do you feature in each edition?
Between 15 and 20 max. Yeah, so the first one was the smallest. So we were, I think,
10 or 12.
Yeah, I think it was 12, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so because it was the first, I was like, this is kind of crazy. I want to see, because nobody ever thought about to have a completely digital magazine. And everybody asked me, why you do not print? And I'm like, because I cannot ship to Australia. So, and nowadays, who wants it? You have tablets, you have phone.
I don't know, some people might want it like on print because, like, I don't know, like, depends on like the presentation style and like holding it. Like, let's say, okay, if you want to go to the beach, you know, on holiday, maybe you want to bring something to read in the sun. You know,
it's an idea.
And then there is no internet.
Yeah, exactly. It's an idea, probably in the future, because again, the platform that we are working now. So for everything for the magazine is my investment, my personal investment. So right now I do not have enough budget to go to move to a platform that gives more what I have now. So that's why the idea to start monetizing a magazine became so strong, because I wanted to explore more. Like, for example, being printed, so you can print whatever you are, having different kind of advertisements, or having different kind of ways of making the community coming together easily. So for that, I need investment. So I'm looking for not just generate and monetize the magazine. I'm looking to do a funding, like, you know, GoFundMe or something like that, and investors as well. So the three paths that I'm starting looking for around.
You've already started.
Yeah, so let's see what's happening, because I think that is an amazing idea. You know, I thought I was crazy in the beginning, but I really believe it. That's why I've done it. You know, and when I have this big boom in the second, and even bigger to the third, I was like, the idea was not crazy. Was really something interesting.
Who are the demographics of your readers? Are they like all female? Is it globally? Or so what's the age group?
So based on the statistics that we can have from LinkedIn, it's global, especially America, Canada, UK, Germany, and Australia. So this is the big hubs that come and look and see our posts from the magazine. I know, so I cannot see if there are more men's or women's, but comments, likes, I can see that it's like 9% women. Generations completely different. So it's amazing because we can attract everybody from different age generations. That is exactly one of the points that I was very, very eager to. I wanted to have from 20s to 60s, you know, I wanted to attract everybody, and I think it attracts because the content is good and the guests are from different generations as well. So right now, this is the kind of statistics that I can have because of the kind of promotions. Like the statistics is just from LinkedIn, so it's the only information that I really have from.
So do you get any mail sending you like comments or sort of messages as well?
Sometimes we have men's commenting, not just on my post, but guest posts as well. Usually congratulations, well done, I knew that you can do it, or like just cheering them. So I love these guys because they are supporting, so they are advocating for women, and once in every time that I have the magazine out, I have men also inboxing or send me an invitation to connect, and sometimes they will mention, I saw your post or I saw the magazine on this guest feed, so I would love to have you on my network. So but probably 90% women. The media plan is going to be ready probably after Web Summit, so probably in 2-3 weeks I have the media plan pack ready. Yes.
Any advertisers who are interested to get onto Candyce magazine, please contact her. What do you think, I mean, like for the first one, what do you think was like the biggest challenge you faced? Did you think it was going to work? Or?
I think the biggest challenge in the very beginning was really, in my personal mind, was like people will understand what I want with that, because it was a digital magazine, you cannot find anywhere.
Yes.
If you're not on LinkedIn, if you're not connect with me, because again, if you do not have the tags or the right people where you get connected, nobody can see the magazine, because I'm not doing any sort of advertising. So that was my first thought, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it because I will have to have some sort of investment, and maybe I can put that money in another place, So I was like, and then I felt that urge of do it anyway, and then one day I just woke up like, I'm not gonna do it, I don't care, I'm gonna try for a year. So I put in my mind, I'm gonna do around 2018. If it works until December, I think what I'm gonna do it. If not, I can just close the year and that's it. So, and everything went a little bit like crazier, and the like numbers growing, and the so many women, and all of the inboxes and the comments, all of the every positive energy and comment that I receive from these women, the guests, the readers, men's supporting us. So that is so amazing, so it's just a fantastic energy that every single week come towards me, and I feel just rejoiced. I feel humble because I thought it was a crazy idea, I almost haven't done it, and now everybody's embracing the idea, the mission, and right now I believe women's are all the women environment in business, it's changing. So women are looking for more support, sisterhood, like sorority. So women are looking and forgetting a little bit about that backstabbing, or I don't want to talk with her because she's competing with me, or they are starting looking to that attitudes and say, this is not right, this is not good. So with this Swift, the magazine comes and bring exactly that. So because all of the guests, we are talking about the same thing, being a role model, inspiring people, motivating not just the young generation, it's motivating everybody to keep doing, to keep in business, to keep it working, to keep find this balance between work and family, and then understand that we are not alone. If you shout out, if you ask your friends for help, if you find your tribe, you're gonna be fine. So this year is all about that. And then we were in the very beginning, so we were there. Probably the universe just whispering to me, do it. So and I've done it. So now actually those women, they have a place where they can go and find inspirational journeys, inspirational stories, and ups and downs. We are not just talking about the successful.
Yes.
We're talking a little bit about the, as what I say, up and downs and challenges in our life as women, you know. So I think just worked. So that's why women, as guests and readers, they are being attracted to the specific magazine. So which is amazing.
Yeah, it is. That sounds very amazing. How long does it take for you to like produce like each edition, and how much work is it involved?
It's around 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yes, because I'm very organized. So you know I love a structure. I love.
Oh, Brazilians?
No, they are not. They are not.
Sorry.
They are not. I told you in the very beginning I was a word Brazilian person. Yeah, I love structure. I love Excel. I love everything. I love lists.
Yeah.
So I have a very structured way to make things work. Because if not, it's not going to work, because it's really crazy. So usually in a week, we send out all of the invitations, asking women if they commit to be in the next edition, for example, in December.
Yes.
If not, we can reserve the slot to February. It's not a problem. Okay, so if they say February, we take straight away their names and put in another Excel for February.
Right.
So and then, with that, we organize between 15 to 20.
Yes.
And then we start asking what they have to send to us. Okay. So when they send everything, we tick all of the boxes. If someone is missing, we chase them. So with this, take us around 2 weeks. With 2 weeks time, and then we take another 2 weeks to organize all of the interviews, all of the content, articles, content recommendations, for pictures, images, everything has to be done.
Okay.
And then so in the 4th week, we send everything to the design, and they start doing drafts. So with the drafts, we send back to the guests, and it's the last time they will see something to make any corrections.
Yeah.
So next 2 weeks is finishing the designing and go online.
Okay, it's about 2 weeks to design.
Yes. So we take 6 weeks to get everything ready for the magazine. But then I'm already booking February. So I'm already working to for February. Yes.
Very organized.
Yes, I have to be because the magazine is not my job, isn't it? The magazine is for now it's a hobby.
Yes.
You know, I'm not monetizing, so I need to organize my time because I have my clients.
Yes.
As a digital consultant, I have my clients for my social media business. I have my events to run.
Yeah.
You know, I have a family, I have a house, I have a dog, and I have the magazine.
Sounds like your plate
full. Yes.
The thing is, you've invited a lot of women, and a lot of women has probably contacted you to say they would like to be on the magazine. Do you say yes to everybody, or
no? No, I do not say yes to everybody. However, I do not like to say no, because I think it takes a lot for a woman nowadays to step up and say, I wanted to be in a magazine, you know? So because we always have that, you know, like imposter syndrome, or we are not good enough in the back of our mind. So I try to, usually 95% of the time, I say yes. When I book the one-to-one, I always ask the universe, if this is not the right person, do something. So the persons, they walk away after the one-to-ones for some reasons. Yes, I never say no. So they always, for some reason, they ask something, and because I answered what it is, maybe they do not like it for anything. I never ask why. So if someone goes away, whatever, you know, like it's not a big deal for me. So for me, it's like they're not aligned with my energy, with my mission, so they just walk away. So I did not have to say no.
So you never said no so far?
No. Okay. I say no before. Is what I said. I have two stages for no. I have the first no is when someone say, can I be in the magazine? And I say no and explain why. Why not?
So what's usually the reason you said no?
Probably it's because I need to understand that if they do have a business, I need to understand it's not a hobby. Okay. And if they're professional, I need to understand, even though if they're juniors, doesn't matter which stage they are, I need to understand the background. So where they are. So they have to be passionate about what they are doing. So if they are not, if they did not find the path in life, or I'm not sure why. So that's why usually I ask the question, why are you passionate about what you do? If they do not know how to answer, this is the time to say, maybe when you find out, you come back to me. So it's a elegant way to say no.
Oh, it's good. It's good. So good tip for everyone.
Yes.
What's your plans for the magazine next year? Is it going to be the same as this year, or would there be some changes in the format or the content of the magazine?
In December, so it's the last for this year.
Okay.
And then what happened is I wanted to go more tech women.
Tech women.
Yes, so I'm gonna get in the magazine more and more women related with tech.
Right, okay.
So right now, most of the women, they are business coach, emotional coaches, or this more like women or digital. They're in digital.
Okay.
So for 2019, I'm gonna go more. So part of the magazine. Another thing that I can say as well is because the magazine we have different generations.
So
So if you see all the magazines, we have like women's in my age, 30s, 20s, all of the magazines. So it's something
all
that
in one magazine. So you
generations, because I wanted to see, I wanted to show the different generations. We are struggling with the same. Doesn't matter if you have 20 or 50, we're still doing the same. So it's like a pattern, So I'm gonna do a study about that. I'm gonna find the pattern of the women's. I'm already talking with someone about that, because it is a pattern. Doesn't matter if you're 20 or 50. Some stuff is the same, especially in mindset. It's the same thing. So it doesn't matter where you are. So, but for the same thing, I'm gonna do business, digital, tech. So I'm gonna go. A third of the magazine is gonna be about tech women. Women in techie. That's why Web Summit is very important. Because I'm gonna have guests for the next year.
So you're gonna be off to Lisbon.
Yes.
Next week or week after next.
Week after next. And that's why for me it's very important to have the women's there. So I'm gonna create around again how organized I am with my thoughts. I'm already creating 6 editions for next year of third.
For the latest magazine, like where can they get that magazine? Like what's
right now you have to follow me or one of the guests. So it's the only way you find the magazine through LinkedIn. So the next magazine is in the middle of December. So right now you get to.
Do you have a date yet or no?
No, we don't. I don't have a date because I needed to have all of the guests confirming. So as soon as they confirm, then it's when I put the date, because then is when I have the design organized. So, but definitely middle of December. So it's December edition. So it's the last of 2018. We're gonna follow again the same 15, 18 guests for the interview. We have 3 different recommendation areas for book, for gadgets. All of the gadgets are very female. Like very girly things, and then we have the recommendations for events as well. For the next year is when we're gonna find the magazine in different places. But then we're gonna make the whole the new what's gonna happen. We're gonna share at my LinkedIn, and probably I will tag the guests and everybody.
We can put the link here, so if anyone wants to download the magazine, you can download the link here.
So and then another thing is doing more videos. So this is something that has been on my agenda for a year now. I wasn't, I wasn't very comfortable with that. I'm very shy. doesn't.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. Although I've known you for about a year
Yes,
now.
but I am very shy, and so I feel very strange in front of the cameras. But right now, I am putting myself in that edge. You know, I wanted to do more videos. I wanted to go more on videos. So that's why I said next step is also having interview in videos as well. So. Yeah,
cool. Looking forward to it.
2019 is gonna be amazing.
Yes, brilliant. So yeah, we look forward to that. And anyone else who's like not following Candyce should connect with her. And if you want to be on her magazine, please send her a message. And we'll all be looking forward to the December edition coming up.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you. Cool.
Bye.
Bye.